Beauxbatons is located in the Pyrenees Mountains. This is located in France. Now, interestingly enough, based on the location and based on the size of the school and their population, they have a bigger student base than even Hogwarts.
You humans, when are you gonna learn that size doesn't matter?
Bonjour, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Press Pause today as we help you break down what wizarding school you or your child would want to attend in their magical studies. Now, today we're looking at one of the top wizarding schools out there, ones that we know from the films, Beauxbatons Academy.
The champion for Beauxbatons is Fleur Delacour.
They're pulling students from the Netherlands, Spain, France, and many other locations. So this is the biggest wizard student population out of any wizarding academy out there.
Wait, what?
Very interesting here because obviously you would think Hogwarts has to be, but no, Hogwarts is a little bit more selective. They do choose witches and wizards to go there. Beauxbatons is not as selective when it comes to these students. They do take in a lot more people. And actually, speaking on those terms, something we found out in our research, because Aurora actually went and checked out this school herself. This school actually is very, very lenient on students, with very few expulsions ever happening in the history of the school. Probably could just count them on one hand if we had to guess. It is noted that the school is very, very lenient when it comes to the witches and wizards that attend there. This school was founded in the 1290s, okay? Very long time ago. Pretty good history of the school with that time period. It's been around for quite some time. The school is a chateau-style castle with lush gardens and fountains all around it. Very beautiful scenery, as we would imagine from the elegant Beauxbatons students and the way they present themselves. Their school presents themselves the exact same way. So it is very interesting to see. This school did participate in the Triwizard tournament, as we saw with Durmstrang Academy and Hogwarts in the fourth Harry Potter, The Goblet of Fire. Now, this isn't the only wizarding competition of interschools. There was a chess tournament. There was a Wizard Potions championship that was hosted interschool. So there were plenty of other ones, but this is the one that definitely is the most renowned one. It's the one that's the most popular that people know because it was in the Goblet of Fire. And interestingly enough, Beauxbatons Academy and Hogwarts are rivals at this. I think Durmstrang's only won like 1 or 2 times. Other than that, Hogwarts and Beauxbatons Academy are going at it neck and neck. And they're pretty much tied, going back and forth with each other. Okay. And there is a Wizards chess tournament. This is something different than the Triwizard tournament. And interestingly enough, Hogwarts and Beauxbatons Academy are also rivals in that. In the World Wizard Chess Tournament, Beauxbatons Academy actually had a crushing defeat of Hogwarts one year, and it's left a very, very bad taste in the mouth of Hogwarts students, and that rivalry has only increased and given Beauxbatons Academy the reason to think that they are a superior school because they destroyed them one year specifically at the Wizards Chess Tournament. Now, we talked about the lush, beautiful scenery of this school. One thing that we will talk about specifically is the fountains. They do have very lush fountains out there at the school, and one of them actually has healing properties, or believed to have healing properties. We weren't able to actually confirm this or not. Aurora did not choose to go to that fountain. She was too busy trying to find dragons and things like that on the property. But interestingly enough, she didn't really find any dragons there, and that makes sense because another school that we talked about in Brazil, South America, actually specializes in dragonology. So her ploys to try and find some dragons at this school were in vain. However, this fountain that she did not do enough research on, as we asked her to, is known to have healing abilities. Now, whether it's true or not, we're not sure. But this fountain is actually named after the Flamels. Okay, Nicolas Flamel made the Sorcerer's Stone, as I'm sure many of you are aware of. And so he is one of the most famous, if not the most famous, wizard from this school. And that's something that most people probably would not know because in the films, this was portrayed very differently to the actual book and actual canon. Okay, this school accepts male and female wizards. It's not just for witches. This is for witches and wizards. They can both attend this school. So obviously in the films, we only see females come to the Triwizard tournament, but Not the case, because Nicolas Flamel actually attended this school. So it does show that the boys are allowed to go to this school as well. And when we talk about the boys and the girls that go there, obviously we remember their attire, this silky blue material, and that is what their robes are made of. Even for the boys, they actually wear this silky blue material as well for their uniforms, and we actually do have some images of this. Now, wood nymphs actually reside on school grounds, and they actually serenade the students in the dining hall, much like we saw the toads and the students serenading around Halloween to people while they were eating. The wood nymphs actually come around pretty much every day, and they serenade the students as they're sitting there at the dining hall having their meals. Now, as many of you may remember, this is also a very iconic scene when the Durmstrang ship came up out of the water. How did Beauxbatons travel? They traveled by a flying carriage, and yes, that is their main form of travel. They do have a house-sized carriage that everyone gets in, and they are flown by winged horses all around the world to wherever they're looking to travel. Now, this school has a very similar education level when it comes to Hogwarts, but instead of in the 5th year having your exams, you actually have them in your 6th year. So that is one thing that kind of separates them a little bit, just one more year before you can take your exams at Beauxbatons Academy. And around Christmas time, Fleur Delacour in the books mentioned this. She did not talk about this in the films, but it is something very cool at the school because they have ice sculptures that do not melt, non-melting ice sculptures in the dining hall all throughout the Christmas time. And this is so cool. I would love to see this around the Christmas time period. And as we mentioned before, the most famous witch and wizard to come out of this would be Nicolas Flamel and his wife Pernelle. Okay, so Pernelle and Nick came from this school, and they're the most famous because of the creation of the Sorcerer's Stone through alchemy. Now, it is interesting as well because alchemy is something the school specializes in. Transfiguration and alchemy is the main focus of this school, and they have very elevated education levels when it comes to that. So just like some schools focused on herbology or dragonology, we have this school that focuses on alchemy and transfiguration. Okay, just like Durmstrang focused on the dark arts a little bit more than every other school. The other famous witch that came from this school is obviously Fleur Delacour. Now, participating in the Battle of Hogwarts, she actually received awards of bravery from the French and British Ministries of Magic. So that is very cool to see the crossover between France and Britain, the Ministries of Magic coming together and to both award Fleur Delacour for her brave efforts in that battle. So that breaks down this school. That tells us everything that we know about Beauxbatons Academy. Obviously, we've seen a lot of this from the Goblet of Fire. See many of these things already in there. We've seen how the students look, how they appear. But did you know that they specialize in alchemy? Did you know that Nicolas Flamel went there? Did you know they specialize in transfiguration? I don't know. We didn't until we researched this. And so we thought it was very interesting to talk about this school, especially one of the main 3 schools when you think of when it comes to the Harry Potter universe. Beauxbatons Academy is definitely one of the top schools out there to go to, located in France. So we do like the French atmosphere here. We do like it's multicultural, pulling students from Spain and other locations. It's not just the UK like Hogwarts. They're pulling from multiple areas and get a lot of diversity in there. So if you want to get a multicultural experience, this is probably a really good school for you or your young witch or wizard. So that is something we would have to say here. If you want someone who is more focused on the arts, someone who's more focused on culture, getting a diverse experience when they go off to their wizarding school, this is probably a pretty good place for them to go. Transfiguration and alchemy are obviously the top things here. And so if your young witch or wizard or yourself wants to specialize in those areas, this would be a good school for you from an academic standpoint. Talking about our kids, this is probably one we would skip for them. We don't think they would have to do an exchange program and go to this school. We can obviously visit the French Ministry of Magic and visit their shops and things like that to get a cultural experience for our kids when we take a vacation. But I don't think we would have to have them go there for a semester or anything like that, especially when they can go to other schools and learn things more specialized in fields that we think will be more beneficial for them. Obviously, at Hogwarts, which is a school we want them to attend primarily, Professor McGonagall is amazing at transfiguration, and they can learn from her. So we can definitely get that taken care of. Now, alchemy, yeah, if they want to specialize in alchemy, we'd probably have to send them here. But other than that, I think they can get a pretty good education from our plan of Mahuta from age 7 to 11, because you can start earlier there. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. Our deep dive on Mahuta. Definitely some cool things in that school we talked about. Then they would go to Hogwarts from 11 and on, with some exchange programs like Castelo Branco in Brazil. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to this. Let us know, would you want to attend Beauxbatons Academy, or would you want to go to another academy? How would you want to do your magical academics for yourself or your young witch or wizard in your life? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and the notification bell to see the next school that we come out with, so you can get a well-rounded idea of what to do for you or your young witch or wizard's academic journey. Christ is King, and we'll see you guys on the next video. The school is a chateau-style scat. And in the world